Hi, I'm Trooper Smacka.
Hi, I'm Trooper Wellman,
Please stay tuned for a behind-the-scenes look at being a state trooper.
and together we can make a difference.
Here we are live with another edition of Trooper Talk with my good friend Jason Sergeant Parachek from NHP, and we're here with Trooper Talk. I'm like jumping out of my seat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many things that I want to talk to you about NHP and all that type of stuff. But here's the thing. What people don't realize is that when we had the different sofas and all, and I first got the studio, I said to you, because you were the PIO at the time, I said, listen, I'd love to do some filming. You know, I think it's a good idea. You know, we weren't putting it on the Channel 13. We're just sort of putting it out, ourselves and things like this. And it was a very big passion of yours to make the PIO and do everything for it. And so, like, I'm just so excited right now because, number one, of the promotions and all these type of things, but like this whole entire thing started by just you and I talking from when we met at the Las Vegas rescue mission.
Yep. Yeah, it was a long time ago, and it was a good partnership because it's another avenue for us to get our message out, which, we go on media, but then we come here and, it just goes to a completely different demographic. And you mentioned my passion, and my passion is traffic safety. I mean, that's what we do with the Highway Patrol. Our mission is to save lives and prevent those fatal critical injury crashes. So it's just a good opportunity for us to get that message out.
Yeah, and so we did the Las Vegas rescue mission, and you came there with the patrol car and, with all the kids and all that type of stuff. And then from there, we've developed this friendship, but it's really cool because, I deeply care about you. Let's give a shout out to your wife, right? She makes all of our desserts and everything the greatest, right? That we want to do everything we can of supporting everything in-house of what we do, but it's really great to be able to hang out with you. I know it's only for a short time and I'm just lost for words, but I'm just really excited. So thanks for being here.
Well, I love it. Thank you.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about some things that are very important, okay? I can't take it anymore. And last Sunday, I sit here with we bring the other troopers on and stuff like this, and we're always sitting here talking about the wrong way driving and the impaired driving and things of this nature. I went for my drive last Sunday. I got on in Town Center. I made a right. I went all the way around, and everything like this, and I came back and got off at Flamingo, and that was it. And then when I went over to Hualapai Bridge, and I looked down and I saw, I didn't see what was going on, but I saw all the patrol cars and everything like that. Someone lost their life who had nothing to do with anything, who was just driving home with his wife. The wrong way driving has to stop.
Yeah, and that crash, two people lost their lives. The innocent driver, his wife is fighting for her life right now. So, lives destroyed, families destroyed. It's really, it's tragic every time. But the wrong way driving, I've been pulling the numbers for a long time. My 5 years in PIO, pull the numbers for media, for legislative meetings, for whatever. I can sit here and honestly tell you, just by the numbers, it's an epidemic at this point. It's not a problem. It's beyond a problem. And it's scary. You drive on that freeway. I drive on that freeway. I got to tell you, I work swing shift, and I have to take the 215 on my way home. And Highway Patrol, we take our patrol cars home. And let's be honest, it's dark on some portions of the 215. I'm looking at my computer screen to make sure there's no wrong way driver calls coming out. And I'm looking ahead of me, and I'm in the right travel lane because I don't want to be coming nose to nose with the wrong way driver. And that's just the reality of it. We can get into more specifics on wrong ways, but I mean, generally the nighttime ones, it's always some sort of impairment that's going on. And that's, you got to be looking out for that, especially at nighttime, because you don't even know if they're going to have their headlights on. You might not even see it coming.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. I mean, the headlight thing makes me crazy. It's why I can't drive my car, right? And so when these people are wrong way driving, they are making a choice to get in their car after they've been impaired in some form of fashion, and they have no care about anyone else on the road.
And that's the frustrating part on law enforcement, especially for our fatal detail, and just our troopers on the road who have to respond to these, because it leaves a mark on you. You know, we're human beings. We see, you know, some pretty gruesome things out on the road, and you know, it's just the frustrating thing is it's all preventable. It's someone made a choice, a bad choice, to get behind the wheel impaired, and then, you know, lives are changed forever. So yeah, it's a problem, and it's pretty scary.
And so you went from being the PIO, which you, if there was a fatal or something like that, you were called out after the fact, generally speaking, right? And so when we talk with Trooper Wellman, you know, we always mention you and Sergeant Smacka, you know, how, because you're on the road now. And so you're actually, you have troopers that are underneath you that actually pull people over, and you're pulling people over. So you're physically on the street now versus, so you're first hand versus the second hand, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're first responders, and you know, in the PIO role, you do a lot of stuff like this. You're in the office, you're doing paperwork, preparing for another event or something like that. So you're not on the road. You show up after the fact. But now me and Sergeant Smacka, we're on the road, and we're showing up on scene, and we are the ones that call Ashley and say, hey, this is what we got. But I mean, you know, on Christmas, I'm on Las Vegas Boulevard down south by Gene, and I'm on scene of a rollover crash where there's a dead 3-year-old in the car. Mom was airlifted to the hospital. So, I mean, that's just the nature of it's the nature of the business that we're in. We see that type of stuff.
And so knowing you from a personal standpoint, and then knowing you from a professional standpoint, and not having a chance to see you as often as I would like to, you know, I can see, you know, like that these things are, you know, inside of you, and so it's just, you know, it's very tough for me to be able to watch you, because you are my friend like that, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, this year, and you know, I go home and tell Michelle, you know, whatever happened that day. But I've been on 2 fatal crashes this year that I've had to do death notifications to the family, and that's heartbreaking. I mean, I'm a human being, and it's hard for me not to tear up telling, you know, a mother that her son just died. We had a fatal not too long ago. I won't get into specifics, so the family doesn't know if they see this, but it was a crash, and the guy went off the road, and he was kind of in a rural area. And you know, as NHP, we get on Twitter and we put that there's been a fatal crash. It's on this road. Expect delays. Use alternate routes. You know, expect road closures. And then the media reports on that. And the family saw the news story, and then they looked at his phone, tracked his phone, and it had been sitting in the same spot for over 3 hours, and it was the spot that the crash was. So the mom, the dad, the wife, everyone starts showing up. And for us, when the deceased is on scene, we don't have anywhere to tell the family to go. We can't be like, they were rushed to UMC, get there as quick as you can. I don't have that option, so I can't, you know, out of respect for the family, you just can't string them along and, you know, basically lie to them. So it's just, you just got to tell them. And, you know, I had to tell this mom and his wife that he had passed, and it doesn't get easier, and it's heartbreaking. But again, it was preventable. It was a poor decision that this deceased made, and like I said, it's frustrating, but it's part of the job.
And do you like? I know you go home and you talk to Michelle and all that, but like, do you ever come back from that? Like it's always there, right? Like, and you're like, even when you're driving, so you're driving down the road, and you know what I mean. Something happens, and it's like it pops, right?
So you never forget the breakdown, that person's cry or their scream. That's burned in your brain. This particular crash, the wife came speeding up to the scene, got out, and was just screaming. So, you never get used to that. It's just something you got to deal with.
I got some pictures for you. Let's see what we got. Okay.
All right. This is me right here, actually.
Yeah. So tell us. Let's see. Let's watch the video. So you're driving in the car, and that is a car. That is wrong way driving.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and look at those rocks. Look at how bumpy it is. They drove through that like it was nothing. The undercarriage was destroyed when we caught up to it.
And so now you have to go through and put your lights on and catch up to this person and put your life at risk because this person decided that they wanted to go wrong way driving on the highway.
Yeah, so this was 215 in Hualapai on the northern end of the Beltway. We had a citizen call in who lives over there and says they think they heard a crash on the freeway. So this is like 2:30 in the morning. So I'm rolling through here like 50 miles an hour with my spotlight, looking for maybe a car went off the road, or I'm just trying to find this crash that this person thinks they heard. And I'm coming around the corner and I see the headlights coming at me, and you're kind of in disbelief for a minute. Like, you're like, are they really on the wrong side of the road? And then this car was, I don't want to really get too much into it because I believe this case is still in the court system. But yeah, we were able to catch up to the driver, and they went to jail on suspicion of DUI.
And so, again, takes into account, that 2:30 in the morning, right? That a person was on the wrong side of the road, wrong way driving on that side of the road, and this has to stop, because if you're not there, maybe they continue on this road and they hit somebody.
Right, and I just I did a news story last week with Channel 3, and they used one of my lines that I said, the only thing between you and a wrong way driver is a Nevada State Trooper. I mean, and that's it. I mean,
that's a very
it's plain and simple,
right? It's a very powerful statement, but it's the truth,
right? And like I said, our shifts they're all very busy, and it's we might not catch up to a wrong way driver.
Yeah,
I mean, you see the numbers there. In 2023, we had, in 2022 we had 823 wrong ways. That's dispatched calls. So that's calls where someone calls in, hey.
Dispatched calls.
Yeah. So someone calls our call center, hey, there's a car wrong way at 15 in Sahara. Dispatch gets on the radio, attention all units, wrong way driver, 15 in Sahara, southbound and the northbound lanes. That's what that 823 represents. That's not 823 arrests or 823 cars stopped. We're only getting a fraction of those. Just based again on what I really don't want to talk about our manpower, but staffing, and then
of course.
Some people figure it out that they're going wrong way and turn around before we get to the area. So there's a lot of factors there, but there's several types of wrong way drivers that we typically encounter. One is your tourist. They're from France, Germany, wherever.
Oh, yeah.
and maybe they just don't understand the signage.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
And generally, those people aren't the ones out there, seriously injuring or killing someone. They find out really quick that I'm going the wrong way, and they self-correct themselves. The other one that we have a lot of is elderly people. They get on the freeway wrong way sometimes. If that's the case and we do end up stopping them for driving wrong way, we will do a DMV form that requests a retest of that driver. And their doctor has to sign off on that, saying that they have the cognitive ability to drive a motor vehicle safely.
Oh, okay.
Then you have people who are suffering some type of medical episode. When I was on Graveyard, I spiked a wrong way driver at 15. We started getting calls on him at 15 and Blue Diamond. He made it all the way down past Sloan check site. He was southbound in the northbound lanes. We found him. He was going fairly slow, so I was able to get ahead of him. I parked in a turnout, and then when he came by, I spiked his car. That, oddly enough, made him go right way. He turned around, and then we went and stopped him, and he was suffering from some type of medical episode. I don't know if it was blood sugar or what, but he was out of it. He didn't go to jail. It was just medical episode. We submit a DMV form, request that he gets retested. And then the one that makes the news all the time is the impaired driver. So for you to get on the freeway wrong way, you have to be at a level of impairment that is, you're up there. And the thing that we see a lot with the wrong way drivers is the poly use, which is multiple.
What does that mean? I don't understand.
It's poly use substance is multiple things in your system. So they
multiple. Okay, okay.
So we see the poly use, which would be marijuana and alcohol, alcohol and pills.
Right. Okay.
Sometimes there's straight alcohol or straight weed, but a lot of the times it's a combination of substances that are this person's under the influence in. So, and then, so those are the 4 wrong ways we typically encounter on the freeway. But you can see in this video, the dots that separate the lanes, they're reflecting white. If you're going wrong way, the other side is red. So if they're driving wrong way and they have their headlights on, all those dots that are separating the travel lanes will be reflecting red, letting them know that they're driving wrong way. But if they were so impaired to get on the freeway in the wrong direction in the first place, they're probably not paying attention to the roadway markings. So what do we do? How do we stay safe on the roads? Few tips. One, and I'm going to speak, daytime is generally not the time we do get some impaired wrong ways, but generally the daytime is mostly your elderly, your
tourists and stuff like that.
Tourists, medical episodes. When you're driving at nighttime, you have to do the speed limit. It's imperative that you do 65 if you're on the freeway. If you have a car wrong way doing 80 and you're doing 80, 90, there's no one out on the road, you're by yourself, it's 3 a.m, you guys are closing at a huge speed. You're closing at like 160 miles an hour. So you're losing precious seconds to avoid that car. So do 65, especially in the overnight hours. Everyone jokes with us, oh, I can do 5 over or whatever. It's at nighttime, 65. You need every second you get when it's a wrong ways coming at you. Every second you can get. The other one is don't drive in the left travel lane. Some people call it the pass lane, the passing lane, fast lane, whatever you want to call it. Don't drive in that lane. I have a few theories on this, on why most of our fatal wrong ways happen in the fast lane. One is if someone's impaired and they get on the freeway and they're wrong way, but they think they're going in the right direction. They know they're impaired. So what's the last thing an impaired driver wants to see in their rearview mirror?
The police officer.
Probably one of us, right? So they'll drive in the right travel lane, try to just blend or just look like nothing's wrong.
Right.
But if they're wrong way, their stay out of trouble lane is actually your passing lane or your fast lane.
100%.
Our fatal critical injury crashes with wrong ways, 75% happen in that left travel lane. So it's important. And then the Star NHP, it's on our cars. When you're on the freeway, if you dial 911, it goes to a call center. The call center now has to get all that caller's information, where they're at, and what their problem is, what their emergency is. The call taker finds out it's for NHP, so then the call taker transfers the call over to NHP. Now, our dispatcher has to get all that same information all over again and then dispatch it out. So you're talking precious seconds, minutes at this point, that we have someone wrong way driving. So it's important that when you do see a wrong way driver, to dial Star NHP on your cell phone. It goes directly to our dispatchers. There's none of that middleman. There's going to be less time lag between the time the call comes in to it getting out to the troopers on the road. So dial Star NHP. It goes right to the dispatch center. It gets to us within seconds. And anyone who's reporting an emergency on the freeway, whether it's a disabled vehicle, they ran out of gas, a crash, wrong way, you're exempt from the cell phone law if you have to pick up the phone and call us.
And I noticed these numbers because when you sent this to me, these numbers are going up every year, right? And so they're not going up in a positive way either. Like I noticed, in a few of them, the North was the same. Then all of a sudden in 22, everything started shooting up, and so and now we're in 23, and as of the other day, we were at eight crashes, but 9 fatals, I think it was. And so we're just started February.
Yeah, and I pulled these numbers on February 6th. We're now on February 14. I guarantee you those numbers are higher now for 2023. I know we had 2 wrong ways before 10:30 on Super Bowl Sunday. We had a wrong way Saturday night at 15 in Silverado, which we were able to stop, and they went to jail. So,
I mean, these are real, like this is like real things. This isn't like, making up things. Every one of those is a person or a car or,
that's 823 bad decisions for 2022
of people and I think that we're not even emphasizing the fact of, like you said, that's of the ones that actually got a hold of dispatch, that actually called the trooper or whatever and said, something's happening.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what about the person that just drove past them, they didn't know and
yeah, there's some people who just don't want to get involved. There's some people who just never gets called in, never gets reported. So yeah, 823 is just what we know about.
823 is just what we know about. It's horrible, Jason. All right.
So here's the dial Star NHP. It's on all of our patrol cars. It's Star 647, and this has been on our patrol cars for years. I mean, years and years. So if, like I said, you see a wrong way driver, dial Star NHP, goes directly into our call center, and we'll get troopers dispatched out there.
Exempt from the cell phone law.
Exempt from the cell phone law. And make no mistake, when a wrong way call comes out, every available unit is, that's lights and sirens. We're responding. It's an emergency situation. So every available trooper is going.
And I think that let's go a little bit further into that. Like people think one person doesn't make a difference. One person can make a difference. One person can save a life. How do they save a life? If you see something that is wrong, say something.
Yeah, I mean, see something, say something. They could be saving a life, and it could be their family member sometime who someone else calls and saves their life. But yeah, the public's pretty good. We get a lot of calls on reckless drivers and wrong ways. The public's good on notifying us. It's just when you're trying to intercept a wrong way driver, it's really like you got to be in the right place at the right time because that car's moving. So if we go to the location that it was dispatched, by the time we get there, that car's long gone. I had a wrong way call that I stopped when I was on Graveyard. We were getting the call at 2:15 in Windmill. I was at 2:15 in Decatur. Sat there. The car never went by. So I'm like, well, let me just start driving. So the car was, westbound in the eastbound lanes on the 2:15. So I'm westbound and I'm looking for the car. I don't see it past me. So I'm like, well, let me just go check up ahead. I caught up to the car at 2:15 in Flamingo. It was still going wrong way. But the initial call came in at Windmill, and then there's that lag time where someone called 911 and it's got to go to a dispatch center. So now by the time we get the call, they're dispatching 2:15 in Windmill, but there's so much time has passed that they were already past me at Decatur when I got on the freeway. So then I get on and, thank God I was just like, well, let me go look.
Yeah.
So it was this isn't funny, but it was kind of funny to me because the 2:15 in Flamingo area was under construction at the time.
Uh-huh.
So there's this driver was in the fast lane going wrong way, but there were construction barrels like lining the freeway for miles, and barrels were flying everywhere. And I was just like, I was kind of chuckling when I was trying to get this car to stop because like barrels are just freaking flying everywhere. And I got her to stop, jumped the wall, pulled her out, and then she had like 5 barrels stuffed under the front of her car. But it was just, now these troopers who are coming, we got to stop traffic and we got to go pick up all the barrels. But it was like something out of a cartoon. Like, you just see these barrels flying all over the freeway. Like she hit every single barrel. It was amusing, but obviously very serious at the same time. But the barrels flying everywhere just kind of cracked me up.
And if that was a person, that instead of a barrel, it just shows to the fact that when someone is impaired, they don't know what they're doing, and they could be hitting things and just continue driving down the road.
Well, yeah, and what does a construction barrel look like? It's bright orange with reflective tape on it,
right.
And she was taking out every single one. And when I got her stopped, I pulled her out of the car, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm driving home. Okay, you're on the wrong side of the road. You're driving on the wrong side. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. Like, that's how out of it some of the people are that we stop. They have no clue.
And when we talk about impairment, one of the things that we talk about is the marijuana, legal, the alcohol, the prescription drugs, and obviously illegal drugs that people can be impaired on. And so like you said, I didn't know that term before, but the combination, people come here and they want to party and have a good time, and all of a sudden, they get behind the wheel and it's game over. They just don't care.
Yeah, and I mean, surprisingly, a lot of our DUIs is not our visitors; it's locals.
Oh, okay.
We do get visitors, who.
So that's good to know.
Yeah, but I mean, we do get visitors who come here and party, and they come on vacation and leave on probation, type deal. But yeah, a lot of it is locals, and we kind of talked about the population.
Yeah.
We're over 2 million. Like this summer, we had the fall, we had a Golden Knights game, a football game, a UFC fight, and a major concert going on the same night. So we have 2 million here. Now how many visitors are here?
Yeah.
Throw visitors on top of the population that we already have.
Yeah.
And, it's busy here. The roads are busy. So
The roads are busy. One of the things we always like to talk about is the fact of trying to get more troopers to join. So we always ask Trooper Wellman to look into this camera and tell everybody, go to NevadaStatePolice.com and join.
yeah.
So just tell everybody NevadaStatePolice.com. Look into that camera. Just tell them if they want to be a trooper or something to call.
Yeah, if you want a career that's rewarding and exciting and different every day, you're outdoors every day. Every day is different. Go to NevadaStatePolice.com. It's a great career. It's a lot of fun, and it's rewarding. This is 95 in Rancho. This is Trooper Brems. She was driving southbound. This was not a dispatched wrong way call. She was just driving and saw it, and and then the car tries going around her. But this is, the mindset of a trooper. We have to stop this car. It's going to hurt someone. It's going to kill someone. So she put her life in danger to get in front of this car. And then, now, great, we got the car stopped. We have no clue who's in that car. Are they armed? Are they going to try to take off when I get out and approach the car? So not only is she dealing with the wrong way driver, she's also dealing with the unknown of what is going on with this person in the car. Are they a good guy or are they a bad guy? But yeah, it's a good job on her. She saw it and pulled right in front of it and got it stopped.
And people have a license plate, right? So when you get behind them, you can type without going into specific details, right? But you can type up on your computer to see, the license plate and maybe the person that's driving and stuff like this. But it doesn't tell you now when they're impaired what they're like, because people are totally different when they're impaired than when they're sober, generally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, we have impaired drivers who were nice as pie during the whole field sobriety testing. I think sometimes in their head they think they're good and they pass the test. When the cuffs come out, everything changes. Not for everyone, but some people. They just become completely a different person. They're enraged, and then, and we're responsible for those people. We have to get them from point A to point B safely. So now we got to get this person to the jail, and we have to do it safely, but they're acting like a fool in the back seat, thrashing around, trying to kick our windows out. So we have some means that we use to secure them in the back of the patrol car to minimize the damage to our car and also to prevent them from hurting themselves. But yeah, you're right. It's you don't know what you're going to get with an impaired driver.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, so I watch some of the popular TV shows with the officers that do it live and stuff like this, not pre-recorded, and they walk up to the cars, you know what I mean, and obviously, do you have any firearms and this and that and all that type of stuff, but some of these people are just nice, and then all of a sudden they get out of the car and that's it, and they're just crazy. And so again, we take into account that you're putting your life on the line every day in going into an unknown.
Yeah.
And so very difficult. Lives are in your hands. So one of the things that I like to talk about and is the fact of where we've had other troopers here who have unfortunately had to pull their firearms and unfortunately take someone's life. We don't ever want to see anyone, but our troopers put into that position. So we always talk about the fact of the positive, to that you should you should be cordial and you should be nice, and unfortunately if you get pulled over, put your hands on the steering wheel and just wait for the verbal commands of what to do. because we don't ever want to put somebody in a position where they have to, use some form of whatever to stop someone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We try to. When I was PIO, we got into the schools a lot. Tried to get into that age range where kids were just learning to drive or about to be driving, and just give them the basics. It's when you get pulled over, if your windows are tinted, put the windows down. If it's nighttime, put your dome light on, hands on the steering wheel, put your windows down. But for us, for me, a traffic stop is nothing. I do it all day long. I've done thousands of traffic stops, but for the person you're stopping, that could be the only time they've ever had an interaction with the police officer. It could be the worst day of their life, right? And they just forget. They're stressed. And we know that. But in the perfect world, people would put their windows down and put their inside lights on for us. But we'd like to see it. But if they don't do that, then it doesn't stress me out that much.
But just try to be as cordial as you can. But it's important to just follow the commands.
Yeah, I mean, listen to what the trooper's telling you. A lot of people will be like, my registration's in my glove box. Can I get it? Absolutely. Go ahead and grab your registration. A lot of people with concealed carry or open carry, for the most part, they let you know that they have a gun in the car. And those aren't the people that I'm really concerned with. It's the people who don't tell you they have a gun in the car. Those are the ones who, are probably could potentially be a problem for the trooper. But in Nevada, this is we're the Wild West, man. Everyone's got a gun out here. So everyone, if they tell me, they're like, "Sir, I got a gun right here." I'm like, "Well, I have one too." So you keep yours where yours is. I'll keep mine where mine is. So.
And in the cordial, you know what I mean? And that's where most people probably are when it comes to this type of interaction. The being polite and all that type of stuff. Yeah,
and I mean, a trooper, they're, I would say for the most part, just from the way we're trained and just from the, I guess the tradition aspect of it, a trooper isn't going to be, for the most part, overly excited and to stop you and be all, happy and jovial at your window. They're probably going to be stern and professional and polite, I would say, is probably what you're going to get. They're not going to be mean or rude. They're just going to, "Sir, you were doing X amount in a 65. I need to see your license, registration, insurance." And then, the guy will be like, "Oh, well, I was going, I got an emergency call. I'm on my way to work." "Okay, sir." That's it.
Yeah, and in a stern way, but explaining to someone what the situation
but
is.
we still maintain a level of professionalism, I'm a field training officer, and we get these new recruits, and halfway through their field training, they have to ride with the sergeant, which is always nerve-wracking for them. And then their final week, they have to ride with the sergeant to get off FTO. So, I always tell the guys, I'm like, we're professional, we're courteous, but we're stern to the point, and you're not going to give anyone attitude. You're there for a reason. It's not just another traffic stop on your sheet. We do enforcement with a purpose, and the purpose is to stop people who are going to cause that crash, injure someone, or injure themselves. So every traffic stop they make, it's for a purpose. It's to correct some type of driving behavior.
And we've always talked about, that's your office.
Yeah.
Most people, they have an office. It's behind walls. It's behind, you know what I mean? And nobody's getting in unless there's a problem or something. And yours is not.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think makes our profession unique is, now that I'm a sergeant, I have to spend more time than I would like to in the office, just doing paperwork, approving reports and stuff. But I also like being outside. So it's great to be able to be in your vehicle and have that freedom to go wherever you want when we're in the not busy hours. We're always busy during rush hour. But after rush hour, there's some time for you to get out and do some proactive enforcement, and you're not in a building. Your office changes every day. The scenery changes every day for the most part. So it's a good gig.
Yeah, 100%. So I will end our little segment with the fact that I know you're real busy and that you're doing so many things and and all that stuff. It means the world to me. That you take the time, and I know that you're very passionate about this as well, but that you take the time and you come in here and we get a chance to hang out and stuff like that. It means so much to me, and I always text you and I'm like, oh, be safe, and now I just want you to be safe out there. You know what I mean?
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Good. NevadaStatePolice.com.
NevadaStatePolice.com.
All right, now we just got to turn towards that camera and do a big wave. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, see you later.